How's it
Hello.
going, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hello.
David, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Ray, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Suresh, what's going on? Well, you're
He's-
muted. I can't
he's muted,
hear.
right? Mhm. Yeah. Now I should.
Very good. Eric, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. See, we've got Jacob on the line too.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our first group mentorship session. So these are meant to give the cohort opportunity to come together, network with one another outside of your match, and hopefully learn a little something. So I'm Jasmine. I'm the head of experience at TechUnited. I've got Kira and Anna on my team with me here as well. And we are going to be talking with Mike here, who is going to be sharing with us his journey from dorm rooms to IPO, everything in between and after. So we're going to get started with Mike in just a couple minutes. And there's a few more people that'll be trickling in. But to get things started, just so we all kind of know who's in the room, I'd love it if everyone would just go around, say hello, quick, I'm so-and-so, and like the sentence on what you do or what your company is. So I already went. I'm Jasmine. I work for TechUnited, the head of experience. And I'm going to just call on folks as they're around on my Hollywood squares here. So I will start with Kira.
Like she said, I'm Kira. I am also with the TechUnited team. I joined a couple months ago now, not very long. And I am the project coordinator here.
Thanks for joining us, Kira. Thanks for putting this together.
My
Next up is Anna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Mazumdar, and I'm the Marketing and Experience Manager here, and I'm really excited to meet all of you. And by here, I mean TechUnited. But yes, on to whoever's next.
Whoever's next is actually Paul, who's a very special guest today.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm actually Michael's son. And I am just here to support my dad and learn more about possibly starting a business.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Suresh.
Hi, my name is Suresh Anapindi. I'm the founder and CEO of Lunch Karma. We deliver restaurant-made, individually packaged, personally labeled personal meals for $9.95 with no delivery fee, no service fee, no tipping, no fees whatsoever. And we are doing local deliveries in Delaware, and we're also starting to ship food in boxes, subscription boxes to Northeast states.
Very nice. Thank you for joining us. David.
Hi, David Singletary, CEO of DJS Digital. We're an independent tech consulting firm, so helping businesses find the right software solutions and technology to help them become more efficient, and having technology do all the heavy lifting and helping them on their digital transformation journey. Glad to be here.
Great to have you. Great to have all of you here. Next is up, Ray.
Yeah, I'm Raymond Talbot from Consolidated Energy Design. I'm the president and CEO of this company, and I'm in the energy business, and we sell smart grid technology to save people a lot of money on their energy bill and grab a lot of money from the PJM grid to help them with their problems.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us, Ray. Eric, you're up next.
Hey, everybody. My name is Eric Tao. I'm a mentee in the program. I'm working on a product unnamed as of yet right now in the EdTech space, where we'll be creating a virtual tutoring platform that changes or breaks the norm from live online video into a product that serves up tutoring experiences in virtual worlds using 3D objects. And that's what we're working on.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Bruce, you're next on my squares. We're doing a quick hello. Are you there?
I'm here.
How's it going?
Good. Bruce Marks. I'm a mentor in the program, mentoring an organization that's in the technical arena as expected with TechUnited. And I have a lot of experience in both startups, both VC as well as non-VC backed organizations, as well as advising from both a strategy as well as a coaching perspective. So glad to be here.
Excellent. Great to have you here. Jacob.
Hello, everyone. I am a mentee in the cohort and probably going to be joining TechUnited shortly, or at least have my firm join. I'm a corporate attorney. I've had a lot of exposure in fintech in the New York and DC area. And as a corporate M&A attorney, I wanted to learn more about the New Jersey community from the startup and entrepreneur side. So that was my main reason for joining. And I already learned a lot. I've already spoke to a lot of the other cohorts, and it's exciting what's going on in New Jersey. So glad to be here.
Awesome. It sure is. Glad to have you here. And the last person I have is Mayor.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Mayor Sachdev here. I actually just joined TechUnited. I'm looking to be a mentor here to help any individuals that are looking for different startups. I did my master's at Columbia University in data analytics and cybersecurity. Started a consulting firm in 2013 and sold that in 2019 in a non-compete. So looking to help out. I'm also a co-founder to Minos Labs, where we help bridge the human capital management initiative for individuals that are in cybersecurity or full stack as they transition from college into the workforce.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. And later on, I want to circle back with you about the whole MBA thing. I've been wanting to do a webinar about getting an MBA and the merits versus like the positives and negatives about it. So we'll talk later.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, that's everyone. I'm going to get right into it and hand everything over to Mike. Mike, I'd love if you just quickly introduce yourself as well. I saved the best for last here.
Sure.
And we'll, from there, Mike's going to tell us about his entrepreneurial journey. I want you all to feel like you can either ask a question, raise your hand, put it in the chat. Like, I want this to definitely be interactive. If you have questions for one another that you want to throw out there, like this is meant to be a group discussion. So please feel free to be as interactive as you can, and remember that I will call on people. And
Not
I'll
a problem.
turn it right over.
Great. Hey everybody, my name is Mike Galkin. I am. We're going to keep it like a fireside chat. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to stop me along the way. I'm going to mention a bunch of names here. I've been doing this for a while, so some of these names you might recognize is in the news a lot these days. So first is P.T. Barnum, Buffalo Bill Cody, Francis Ford Coppola, Walt Disney, William Durant, Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, William McKinley, Thomas Paine, Rembrandt, Donald Trump, Mark Twain, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Edison, and myself, Mike Galkin. What do we all have in common? Anyone?
Entrepreneurs.
Guys being all male.
Yeah, right. No, we've all gone bankrupt. So we've all lost every penny we've ever made. So, and that's how we're going to start this whole thing. So it all goes back a long time ago to I was in my freshman dorm room. I started my first company. It was a storage company for students. I wasn't even a business major. I was in college, a double major in biology and philosophy. My roommate freshman year was a business major, and he owed me some money. My whole career seems to revolve around telephone things. So back in 1981, when I was a freshman in college, it used to be really expensive to make phone calls, and he owed me $300 for a phone bill that he did not have. So he came with this crazy idea that we'd start a storage company. He'd borrow $1,000 from his father. We each put in $300. So he borrowed $1,000, paid me the $300. We each put $300 in, and we basically bought a telephone answering machine, which is really expensive back then. We put it on our dorm telephone, and we put up flyers all around the school, and we started our first business. And we were a little shy. I was a shy entrepreneur at the time because I didn't want people to know if we failed or anything. So we didn't tell anybody that we were the owners of the business because you wanted to have some kind of trust involved there. So we named the company something. It was called Tri-City Storage. It sounded like we were in business 100 years, even though we were two freshmen in our dorm room who knew nothing about business at the time. I kind of told people I got my MBA my freshman year because we made every possible mistake you could possibly ever make. Bad logistics, bad everything, which is we didn't think things out because we were both 18 years old and neither of us knew any better. So the first mistake we made was we'd pick up at your dorm room because we felt the dorms had either elevators or dumbwaiters, and you go to the dorm room, you pick up the stuff, you bring it down the elevator, 12 flights of stairs, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you've ever moved kids into college or been in college, when people are moving in and out, you don't have access to the elevator. So we literally, everything went up and down the stairs, so I got really buff that year. I could tell you, we trunks and valises and TVs and refrigerators, 12 flights of stairs. I could do that. I don't think I can do that now, but I could definitely do it back then. Mistake number one. Mistake number two is bad logistics. We got a big, huge 24-foot truck. We'd fill up the truck, and then we'd have to drive, and it would take an hour or two to empty the truck. We were always late for appointments. We were undercapitalized. So we went around and we were collecting $20 deposits from people because we felt we needed a deposit, but we really didn't need a deposit. We needed the parents always paid. We sent a bill to the parents, and the parents would pay us. So that was the magic of everything. What other mistakes did we make?
How many students use the service?
We had about 15% of the student population. We made decent. The first year we made nothing, but when we graduated, we doubled business and doubled again, and then doubled it the fourth year. One of the things we did in year two was we changed an R to an M. Instead of delivering at your door, we delivered to your dorm. So now we would meet you at the bottom. You'd have to bring your stuff down the elevator and wait the hour for access. And we say, we'll be at your dorm at 10 in the morning at 3 in the afternoon. We, instead of having a storage facility 20 miles away, we got a place 1.5 miles from campus. We had a couple vans instead of some big trucks, and we would literally take a van, we fill up the van, drive it 1.5 miles, empty it, and come back. And we do this as many times as it would take to process everything there. If we were running late, the other van would go to the new location where we'd have to be at 4 o'clock, and we were on time, and we checked everything in, and we ran it like clock. By the time we graduated, we had it all figured out, and it was, I sold my first business when I graduated college. I got the equivalent of about $60,000 for it, about a year of tuition, which I felt
sold it
to the college. The college actually bought it. I got a check from the college when I graduated. So sophomore year, I guess I got a little cocky running business. So the same partner and I decided we would start a second business. It was washing windows in a place called Nantucket. So I got to spend summers on Nantucket. All my friends came, and we rented a house, and we made a little money on the house. They worked for us, and we had a great time. I was basically just running them around and organizing everything. I don't think I washed too many windows while I was there. I was more of a manager organizer, even though I knew how to do it. I never even knew how to do wash windows until we learned it ourselves. It was just an idea we came up with, and that business went on for years and years too. After I graduated college, my father, who's a dentist, said you can't store things and wash windows the rest of your life. And I kind of looked at him kind of strange, and because I actually bought a house in college too, so against his whim and will. So I had a house. I was pretty successful in college, even as not even a business major. I'd taken one business class in college. So he convinced me to go to join the family business. My dad's a dentist, so I applied to a bunch of schools and wound up going for a year at University of Pennsylvania School of Dental Medicine. I hated it. So I drop out, much to my parents' chagrin, go back to Nantucket to go wash windows. And when September rolls around and all my friends go back to dental school, I had no real plan, but I knew in my mind I had a plan. I just had no formalized nothing that I didn't have a business plan written at that point. I just was kind of going with the flow kind of thing. And I came back to New Jersey for the first time and started washing windows in New Jersey, just as something to do and a little bit to make my parents a little more mad. So, I figured I'd throw it in their face. So it was quick cash, you get paid right away. A couple weeks into washing windows, I found out about this thing called pressure washing, and found out the hourly rate for pressure washing is 3 times that of window washing. So pretty quickly we stopped window washing and started pressure washing. And because I had a college education and was half intelligent, we found our niche in that marketplace between the $50,000 and $250,000 jobs, where in Jersey City and Hoboken and Brooklyn, up to about 8-story buildings, we would do acid. When a 100-year-old building would go from apartments at the time to condos or co-ops, we would go in and acid wash the fronts of those buildings and make them look brand new, so they had good curb appeal. So, and usually those jobs took a week to 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even a month, depending on the size of the building. And it was good money. It allowed me to to find another. We were looking for a location to put all of our trucks and equipment. We had 3 trucks at the time, and a place in Edison became available, and it looked like it was on Route 27 in North Edison, right near JFK Hospital. It had a garage door in the back and a garage door in the front. You could drive through the building. I said, this looks like a car wash. Why don't we open up a car detailing place? So we were washing buildings and washing cars. The corporate, the building washing company was called Apex Restoration, and the car cleaning company, we called it Palm Springs Auto Resort in Edison. It was there from 1986 until 2000. I moved back, like I said, moved back to my parents. I ran that business from, like I said, 1980, 86, 87, all the way through 2000. Along the way, about a couple weeks after we started, maybe a month after we started cleaning cars, somebody asked me about this thing called a cellular phone in 1986, and never want to give up an opportunity. I called this company called Cellular One at the time, and became their 6th agent in New Jersey. The industry was brand new. There was no experience, so it was a great industry because the fact that I didn't have experience made no difference because the industry was just getting started. So once again, I'm in the phone business again, and phone things are the core of my business, from my partner owing me $300 for a phone bill to getting involved in the cellular phone industry right at its infancy. The first couple of years, one of those years we made Agent of the Year for Cellular One, and with the most sales. I'd had a couple retail stores at the time. In 1998, 97, I was starting to burn out from retail after being in it for about 10 or 11 years, and sold that business and took a contract with a company called MCI Wireless, which became Worldcom Wireless, and just doing wholesale. And I got involved. I sold the retail store to my employees. I just was so tired of being in that business. I could never do any retail ever again. And the business plan for Third Millennium, which was a new company, was we would go around to all the mom and pop cellular phone places. If you're older like I am, you remember there weren't all the corporate stores back then. There were a lot of independents out there. We did business with all the independents. We had New York City, we had Boston, we had Washington D.C. and Baltimore, we had Chicago. We were WorldCom's largest agent. And one thing led to another. I got involved in e-commerce with WorldCom, and in 2001, 2002, the last year that WorldCom was in business, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. If anyone knows WorldCom, you know it doesn't end well. We sold 187,000 phones for them. I grew that company from about $100,000 the first year to close to $60 million in our 5th or 6th year. I made the Inc. 500, and in 2001, October 1st, I took the company public in a reverse merger, having never raised a penny. So I still owned, even after we were public, I still owned close to 60% of the company for myself. We'd never had an A round, a B round. I really am good at building businesses and doing everything. I'm just really bad at raising money. So
can you talk more about what it was like actually taking it public, like what that process was like?
Sure. So my father-in-law, who was a corporate attorney, a couple of his clients were doing these kinds of things. He worked for Rolents for a long time, and he was a securities attorney. So it was always something in the back of my mind. It was always in the back of my mind. Was I thinking of doing? I was not a very typical, even though I was a biology major, I wasn't a very typical college kid growing up. I didn't care about sports. My son, who's listening in, would know. When was the last time I ever watched a football game? I couldn't tell you. I'm not a big football fan at all. But I could tell you who all the CEOs of the companies were. And I could tell you. I learned how to read balance sheets and income statements. In high school, because that was just what I did. I would go write. If you're older, also you remember companies used to put out beautiful annual reports. They were like books. So, and you were requested. You didn't have to be a shareholder if you just wrote to the company. So I got Johnson & Johnson and Amrata Hess and a lot of New Jersey companies that I'd heard of. And every year you get on the list, and they'd send you these beautiful bound annual reports, 40 and 60 pages of pictures and all the income statements and everything else. And we had a good year and a bad year. When it said they had a bad year, I'd look at everything and say, yeah, I could see you know, the income statement's down or the balance sheet was hit or whatever. So I knew that stuff way better than I knew any of the sports guys. So not very, I must have been a nerd in college. I went to a prep school too. So I was definitely a nerd. So anyway, back to going public. So we grew that company really quickly, and we were profitable the whole way because I bootstrapped pretty hard on that. And we went public and had a $2 million round. Our first round, we were going to do a 504 offering, and the only problem was that we went public October 1st, 2001, and we had September 11th, 2001, 20 days prior to going. So 20 days before we went public, September 11th happened. It was a horrible thing. The stock market was horrible. Even though we were having a great year, we had a great year. We were in the cellular phone business. So if you didn't have a cellular phone before September 11th, after September 11th, you definitely got a phone. We had our best year. We doubled sales again that year, from 25 to close to $50 million that year, even though we had never raised any money. Couple stressful months in there too, eating up all of our cash flow to do it, but we pretty much did it, and everything was going great. Super successful. I marketed ourselves, and Worldcom loved us, for what we were doing for them. We brought in, close to 200,000 sales for them that year. And there were some rumblings going on with Worldcom in 2002. The stock wasn't doing well, and Bernie, there was a whole bunch of stuff going, and then all of a sudden it gets announced that they have an accounting scandal, and in 6 weeks they go from a top 50, they were in the top Fortune 50 companies, from Fortune 50 to zero. The stock goes bankrupt. There is no Worldcom anymore. Verizon bought part of it, and T-Mobile bought part of it, and it was all split up in bankruptcy auctions. And the $4 billion a year wireless subsidiary that we were working with also just went Chapter 7, and they just closed it down. So there were $4 billion worth of sales that just disappeared from everything. The Verizons of the world picked that up, when people just switched their numbers back. It was a horrible thing. I could tell you, I cried. It's like losing a child. Losing a business is like losing a child. It was very stressful in my life. My kids don't know how stressful it was. I went from having income to having zero, to having nothing, and having never raised money. I never took a ton of money out of the company. It was all, I never sold a share of stock. I never. I was looking for I was definitely the long-term player. I wasn't looking for a short stock. I was looking to take stock and cash and buy a couple other companies and grow the business, to a couple $100 million a year in sales and grow it like that. One of our competitors raised and burned $200 million. They went through, and we did about 40% of what they sold without raising any money. So without burning a single penny except my own money, we had no we had no burn rate. We were profitable. We were cash positive. We built a better machine. We built a much more tighter ship. I can, having started businesses with no money, I've never had other people's money except my own. And it's funny, you treat your own money very much more better than you treat other people's money, I guess. So I treat it very carefully. Also, I made that year the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award. I was number 126 in the Inc. 500. We went into e-commerce. It was a funny story. It used to be when we would do applications, we'd type an application in on a green screen, if anyone remembers old computer stuff, they had a VT, it looked like an old mainframe computer. We would type an application in and manually do the applications. Worldcom had cracked it and had a website that you could go on, and all we had to do was develop our website so that it would take our information, put it over to their website, and hold that connection, and then come back with an approval. It took about 30 seconds to get an approval and get that back to the client. So it'd say, hey, yes, you're approved, or no, you're not approved. And my crack team of programmers cracked that before Worldcom did. And they offered me $25,000 to sell them, to tell them how we did it. And I didn't tell them that I'd already paid people $35,000 to crack it. So I didn't want to tell them I'm not going to lose money. I beat them out to in their own market. And on the first my very first day of being in commerce, one of my partners was breathing down my neck. They had about 45,000 applications to run, and we ran 45,000 applications. Took about 5.5 hours to run them all, and we got 800 approvals out of all that.
These are applications for what exactly?
For new cellular phones. It was a free cellular phone promotion that they were running, and we were running. So that first day we did close to $1 million in e-commerce sales, and I had nothing set up. We literally just broke into the system and got it all to work. I didn't have 800 phones even in stock at the time. As soon as we broke the code, they were holding back. They turned everything on, and within a day we were like 2,000 phones behind shipping. And I went to them and said, listen, you have to stop. I need 5 days or 10 days to not do anything. We need to get caught up. And I went out and bought 20 desktop computers and set up 20 folding tables. And we went to a couple of temp agencies, and I said, I need 40 people. We're going to hire 20 of them. And we hired 20 people. We trained them and we started shipping stuff. And within probably about 6 weeks, in less than 2 months, we had everything. So you could go onto our website and apply at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. The phone would ship at 5 o'clock when UPS would come pick it up. So same day shipping, same day stuff. We would ship either ground if it was local, or any on the West Coast stuff, we'd ship 2 days. So they'd have it, in 2 days.
How much of that process was new at that time? I mean, hearing about it today, it's like, yeah, of course it was same day shipping, but we're talking a little bit ago, right? It
was in 2001, 2002. Yeah. It was all, there wasn't any expertise in it. I had no idea what a hot glue tape machine was until I'd already, we were taping boxes regularly. So it was, why don't you use hot glue gun stuff? And you ever see those boxes that have the little tape in them and they're really on there really well? That's because it comes out and it pre-measures out 21 inches worth of tape. And you take that and you fold it down and it dries and it's really secure. I mean, I learned the shipping industry by, trial and error, basically, which is the way I've learned everything my entire life.
Right.
And we've always we're constantly improving. I love the Tesla model where Tesla improves things on a constant basis. They don't wait for a model year. If they put it out right away. They don't wait for the next model year. If we could do it right now, you do it now. And that's kind of what we did. We fixed things along the way and picked up the pieces and moved ahead. So our plan was basically to raise some money, use some cash in stock to roll up a couple more companies, and grow ourselves also. And the Worldcom bankruptcy put that all out of mind. I joined in New Jersey. It used to be the YEO, Young Entrepreneur Organization. You had to be under 40 at the time. It's now called EO because we've all gotten older. So it's not just the entrepreneur organization, but it used to be Young Entrepreneur Organization. So we were all under 40. I was a member, and YEO is a peer-based group. So you could talk to you had about 50 guys in New Jersey, but you had a small group of about 8 people that would meet once a month in a small group, and you could go over problems. Listen, I'm not happy in my marriage, or I need to hire a new CFO, or our sales team stinks. And one of the things about YEO is you can never, because they're peers, is that you can never say, I think you should do this, because that was always you're telling a peer, you never. But you can say, hey, listen, from my experience, I can tell you, I think my experience. Here's what happened in my life. Maybe my experience can help you, kind of thing. So you're always helping people out by telling them about how and if you don't have experience on it, like if I've never been divorced, so one of the months we did something about he's getting divorced and all the stuff that's going on. I said, well, I don't have a lot of experience getting divorced, but an uncle got divorced and it was I told a couple horrible stories about my uncle. Maybe that could help, kind of thing.
So how much of that helped? Like as an entrepreneur, oftentimes, and especially for you, it sounds like you learned a lot along the way. You learned from kind of like what you could take in from those books, like from your experiences, from just making it happen. How important was that group to you as you continue to grow and come across challenges?
Funny you should mention that. I was just going to get to that. So I was just getting.
We didn't plan that.
Right. So I lost every penny I ever made. I have no business. I have, a couple weeks before, and we hire someone to come speak, and one of the founders of YEO came to speak to us, and we had to buy his book called The Rockefeller Principles. which the name, I'll think of the name in a couple minutes. So he comes to speak, and he wants us to, instead of paying him, we all agreed to buy 30 copies of his book, all 50 of us. So he could have a #1 selling book on eBay, on Amazon. So we all bought it the same day, so that he was a #1 seller on eBay, on Amazon, so he could say he had a #1 bestseller.
Influencer marketing.
Right. But he came to speak to us about his book called the Rockefeller Principles, which is a great book. They made a second version of it called Scaling Up. And the second part of what we had, someone had to volunteer to drive him to New York City because he was doing a Scotch tasting for Glenlivet. And all my friends pointed to me and said, you need to go, and you need to go get drunk. So we're sending you to take him after this meeting in New York City to go drink some Scotch. So I wasn't even a Scotch drinker at the time. So still not, but more gin and tonic kind of guy. But so in the car, we start driving in, and he goes, so, tell me about yourself. And I go, well, 5 weeks ago, Worldcom went bankrupt. I lost every penny, and I have no business anymore. And I had to fire myself and 55 people. And, I spent the past 2 months basically in bed, saying what am I going to do? And I'll never forget what he said. He kind of took a second or two and said, well, in 10 years, if you look back on your life, do you want to be the person who said, I was the person who was doing this, and I was the person who was doing that? Or do you want to be the person who said, I am the person doing this, I am the person doing that? And I instantly felt the pressure come off of me. And I just felt good at the time. And I said, I probably can do something again. At that point, I didn't know what I was going to do. But why, I'd done it before. Why can't I do it again? Kind of thing, So a couple months later, I started the company I founded now called VoiceNEXT, which is a business-to-business phone company. We do voice over IP-based phone systems for businesses. And with no money and no customers, we compete with Verizon and Comcast and everyone else. And, I'd have it no other way, because it's really easy to compete with those guys because they're really horrible. So, our success story has been literally we just answer the phone and say, hi, how can we help you? Make it easy. And our customers love us. So we're very boutique-y, we're very hands-on, we're very high touch. And we've got a lot of premier marquee clients, everybody from Tribeca Film Festival to St. Patrick's Cathedral is a client. And we basically built a better, at the end of the day, we sell commodity, but we wrap it up with such a better customer experience that our customers actually like us. We just asked our customers for something. Being COVID, we've all been tied up in rooms. So we've all been alone for months. So I wanted to do something fun for our clients. So we literally got masks made up with our name and VoiceNEXT and candy corn. We sent it to all of our clients and said, if you take a picture of this mask and go on Google and give us a review, and I don't care, good review, bad review, we'll take $50. If you just give us a review, we'll give you $50 off your bill, and we'll give $50 to a not-for-profit also. A couple of our clients are not-for-profits. They've been struggling too. And if you take a picture with the mask, we'll double it. So we had about probably 35, 40 people come on and give pictures, and everybody liked it. It was just a great way to connect people, because people are all feeling the same thing. We're all feeling isolated, and we're all feeling, and it was Halloween and masks. So, we felt, it was just something we wanted to do for fun, and it brought everyone together and made it more of a community again. So,
and so now with VoiceNEXT,
mm-hmm.
Where do you feel the company stands?
I had to do a couple things differently with VoiceNEXT. I care a lot less about growing quickly than making sure I don't have to start again I'm 57 now. So starting again at 40 is a lot different than starting a new company at 57 with losing every penny. So my concern has been to make a living and be successful and do it a little less risky. So we've grown a little bit slower. We took no outside investment. My partner, Ray, probably has heard of the company he came from. He came from a company called Cooper Electric Supply. He was a Cooper. He's a Cooper. So one of the Coopers. Coopers got out of that business in 2000. So we started our business in 2004. He was still one of the last people working for Cooper Electric after they sold the company. And and they've always been a customer-centric company, and I'm really into customer-centric stuff. So we built the company to be truly, customer-focused and oriented. And like I said, our customers like us. We're true 24/7 support. You can call us at 3:00 in the morning, and you get a real person on the phone, not an answering. So you can't even call Verizon and get that. So you're Comcast or anybody. So, and those are the important calls. The ones that come in at late at night, we don't get too many of them, but those are the ones that make us, and I've gotten more deals by telling people, here's our support number. You call your company and call us at anytime you call us at the same time, do a taste test, and don't tell us you're going to call, do it all, and we always win those because we're fanatical about support. And that's really been our success, because the phone making and receiving calls is easy. It's wrapping it up with support and making sure, you keep the clients happy. So it's much easier, I found, to keep clients than it is to get new clients. So we've had our churn's been like 1/3 of what our competitors churn, because we contact them more often and we're much more proactive, and we're willing to go the extra distance for them to help them out.
And your entrepreneurial journey started what now? Is it just about 35 years ago? 86, you said?
81.
81, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and you've gone through a really interesting transformative period for the technology industry. Like you went through cellularphones.com. Like you went through a lot of major changes in how we communicate. So how would you say that's helped you build what VoiceNEXT is today?
It was nice. When I got into the cellular phone business, nobody knew what they were doing. So there wasn't a lot of stuff, and I'm good at organizing. I'm good at having made all those mistakes and everything. I was good at, listen, it's okay to fail. It's okay to make a mistake, if you own up to it and just move ahead and make sure you do it quickly and make sure you don't put yourself out of business doing it. It's all, if you're an entrepreneur, there's probably never been a better time to be an entrepreneur than now, probably. As I will tell anyone, because there's never a bad time to start a business. There's never, if you've got a good idea and you think you could do something, you could be, if I had to start a business, I would probably start, if either of my kids came and said, I want to start a business, I would probably help them out and, get really super excited about it. If they had a great idea, if they, you have to think about an idea, something that there was a need. The cellular phone business taught me that, at the time when AT&T was offered, when they broke up AT&T, this is all about the same time they broke up AT&T. They broke up AT&T in the late 80s, and AT&T was offered when they broke up AT&T was offered to be the single cellular phone company for the country, and AT&T said, well, no, we never see more than 1 million phones being sold ever. We never see more than 1 million of them ever having been out there. And they were so wrong on that, they could have owned the entire business, the entire cellular phone industry. But at that point, they decided to make a duopoly. So there was the local phone company got one license, and there was another company that got the other license. And though that company used the name Cellular One for a long time, that one became Verizon in our area, the other became AT&T in the area. So we were always working with the AT&T company in the area. And I signed a bunch of contracts and sold a lot of phones, and got good at marketing and good, if I learned marketing just by trying a bunch of stuff. We had a lot of co-op money to, every time we sold a phone, they gave us $50 in co-op money, and I literally couldn't spend it quick enough. We advertised and
what tactics worked the best for you?
We had so much money left over, use it or lose it. We went on the Howard Stern show back when he was, we did a month on the show just because I had $10,000 I was about to lose. So I paid the Stern show $10,000, and had to be 1988 or 80, when he was still on in the morning before he was in the afternoon. It was on the morning show. And, they did some great commercials for us, and, we made our money back, and it was money I was going to lose anyway. So it was just found sales. We couldn't, like I said, we had so much in co-op money. We didn't know what to do with it all. So we were maybe a little wasteful, but we did a lot of fun things with it too. So,
what ended up having the best conversion in your opinion, or that you can remember?
The best conversion we ever did, and it got me out of tickets for years, was Cellular One had a promotion where they were going to give an extra. We got around a $300 commission plus $50 in co-op money but everyone said, we're going to have a promotion. The winner of this promotion is going to get an extra $100. So it was a $400 commission, but only the winner would get it. So we had to make sure that we were going to win it. So we decided it was still $40 a month with no included minutes and 40 cents a minute. And it was right when the bag phones were coming out, and the bag phones cost us about $350. So if we didn't win this promotion, we would have lost money. We were just about to break, we'd break even. We'd make up $50 per sale if we won the promotion and $50 a co-op. So we decided to give phones away to the police department in Edison, and Edison told Metuchen, and Metuchen told South Plainfield, and we wound up giving close to 700 phones away to police officers all through the state, because people were charging $200 for bag phones at the time. We were giving them away.
Right.
And at the time, it was really early. We didn't even have a line of credit at the time, so I wasn't gonna have enough money to buy the phone. So the only caveat was that we'd sign you up on the last day of the month, which we did. We got all these people approved. We activated 700 phones on the very last day of the month, and said you're gonna have to get one phone bill, because if we activated, we got paid on a monthly commission. So if we activated in the month of October, by November 15th, we got paid for everything.
Right.
So I was going to get paid the commission. I was going to buy the phones on the 15th, as soon as we got paid, and you can pick it up anytime. As soon as we'd order the phones on the 16th or 17th, and by the end of November, you'd have a phone, and you saved $200 doing it. But it would cost you one time. It would cost you $40 for the month, or per whatever until you got the phone, up to $40 in one bill that you'd have before you actually picked up the phone. And they all went along with it, and as they were going to save $160, and like I said, it got me out of tickets for years and years and years. Oh, you guys, oh yeah, Palm Springs Auto, yeah, okay, so that was probably our best marketing back at the time. It's really finding the marketing thing. I've met a lot of people who've done some marketing. One of the big things I did when we were a public company was we made a deal with a company called Overture. I'm not sure if anyone remembers. Does anyone know Overture? Anyone? No. Overture was a competitor to Google at the time, and Overture sold for about $1 billion to Yahoo as a Yahoo search engine. We made a deal. Those guys were young at the time, and I remember I went into the meeting. We just cracked e-commerce, and Worldcom was going to pay an $80 commission, and we were going to go out 50% more. We went out at $120 commission, beating them, because so I went to the Overture guys and said, listen, here's the deal. We're going to pay you 50% more than Worldcom. I'll give you the name of the Worldcom. I'll give you the contact if you want. Worldcom's going to pay you, 50% less than we would pay you, or a third less. They're going to pay you 80. We're going to pay you 120. And they go, well, how are you going to not cheat us? Like how? And I said, well, listen, we're a public company. We have audited financials, but I will give you agent, like you will have the ability to go on in real time and see metrics. So if you think we're cheating you, go on, do an application and just watch, and you'll see the metrics go along. And so I said, here's how it works. I went on, here's a brand new agent code. It said 0 applications, 0 approvals. I typed an application for Donald Duck, which I did a lot at the time. And it took 10 minutes for our system to update. So I had to talk for 10 minutes. So I'm talking for 10 minutes, talking, waiting for the system to update. And 10 minutes later, I update it, and it says 1 application, 1 not approved. I said, all right, if you want, put an application in with you guys. They put one of their applications in. It said 2 applications, 1 approved, 1 not approved. Just see that I wasn't making up stuff. And I said, if you want a phone, we'll ship the phone to you. If not, we'll make it go away. But they agreed with us, and I think I was like 20, less than 25 or 26 at the time. And they went for it, and we did about $2 million with those guys in a year. So we paid. It was a great, a great win for us.
Very nice. Well, I know we've got about 15 minutes left on the meeting, and I'm curious if anyone has questions or related to what you're talking about, related to entrepreneurship in general, anything that you're currently dealing with in your business right now. I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs and founders on the line, and it can certainly be a question for Mike, or if it's a question you want to pose to the larger group. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story, by the way.
Thank you.
I think something that most of us entrepreneurs can relate to. I've also gone the route that you have where, I never have taken any investment money. I've always done it, with my own money. It's a lot harder and a lot slower to do it that way, but you also don't owe a lot of money out to other people, and you also don't, get yourself in a position where they can fire you. So, but tell me, after this WorldCom debacle, what is it that VoiceNEXT does that that the competition doesn't do? What do you say makes you? What's your differentiator that makes you successful?
So our secret sauce, like that's it's kind of simple. So a lot of our competitors, when they set you up, they ship you the phones and just here plug them in yourself. We decided about 4 or 5 years ago that we would go out to every client in the Metro New York area, and between, I've been up to Connecticut, I've been, New England and down to DC. I've been to Springfield, Missouri to do installs. We'll go out to the client and help out and do the install and training at no cost, because we look at that as an investment in the client, and it makes it so that the clients are much more sticky because now there's a face behind everything. There's all the questions get answered. A lot of people, people hate change. People hate, that I'm in an industry of change. We're changing out old handsets. They go, well, why is this button here? It always was button that was on the left. The button's on the right now. People can't stand it, but we make it change. We make it easy. We make it seamless. We make it so you don't miss a call. And
are you talking about telephone systems? Like,
yes, we do phone systems for
like
businesses.
Intertel, like, I don't know, there were different companies like Intertel or people like that, that had, that sold phones, and then they sold phone systems. Is that what you sell?
That's what we do. We actually, our competitors would be Vonage and Ring Central and 8x8. So most of our competitors are all e-commerce type companies that don't actually go out and do the installs and don't do that white glove kind of thing where we do. So that's where we compete with those companies, and we've just got our support and service mechanisms are just easier to work with than we make it, seamless and easy to do business with us.
I think that's wonderful. I think you've hit on a nerve there, because I think just about, well, I don't know. I think the younger folks don't mind the change so much, but those of us that are really busy in our business, we don't want to spend a lot of time dealing with, like right behind me, I have another big ass Dell computer system that I have to put in. I'm dreading it. Why? Because it's going to take 8 hours by the time it's all set up and this and the other. I'd rather buy it, have somebody come in, put it in, and then get it working, and then just let me know and I can work on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think you're onto something wonderful. How long have you been with the company?
Our business, I founded the company. So
no, I mean, how long have you had this company?
Oh, 2004 we started. So we've been,
really?
Yeah. So I've never had a job. I've only ever worked for myself. So when I went bankrupt in 2002, it took me 2 years to get back on my feet a little bit and back. But if you look at our business card at front is mine, but on the back of the business card, it says, we care as much about your business as you do. I mean, that's our corporate culture. So we built a culture that my staff will go bend over backwards for our clients and help out. We were so fanatical with the customer service and support that, like I said, we don't lose customers. We don't, our customers trust us as trusted advisors. And, when we tell them, whenever there's a problem, half the time it's on you and half the time it's on someone else, because it's, the phone, if you're calling someone else, it might be not on our system, it might be on the other system. They actually believe us when we tell them, because if it's on us, we'll tell them, we'll own up and say, yeah, it looks like it's on our side or your side. If it's not, we'll tell them that too. And they actually, our clients actually trust us as never having lied to them, in the past. Why would they, we've never, it's just out of our culture to do something like that.
And so since they've heard of Vonage and all of these other companies, how do you make them hear about you, VoiceNEXT? I mean, I've never heard of that company, your company VoiceNEXT. So what do you do to attract customers like those of us that are here on this call?
We do a lot of marketing. Those companies do a lot of huge, and if you look at those companies, they lose money and lose more money and lose more money because they spend 30% of their gross revenue on marketing and sales, and we don't. So we grow a little bit slower, but we put about 5 or 6% out there to do that. But they've burned through hundreds of millions of dollars that they've raised and diluted their owners' cap stock. So we decided not to do all that. And we grow a little slower. We partner with a lot. So we do partner with a lot of IT professionals. They sell for us, so we pay them a commission to do so. We've got a great partner program. So that brings in, if a company trusts their IT people, they'll and they make a recommendation, we'll come in and make sure that we do a bang up job and that we, they don't burn,
bridges.
They don't burn their bridges, for something they're not going to make a lot of money on. We pay them decently, but for an ancillary service, we make sure that if they're going to make a recommendation, that they're not going to regret it.
That's great. I love that. You're doing a really nice job.
We also do a lot of market. We also do a lot of before COVID. We would do a lot of events. We do a couple of events in Javits every year. We do the TechUnited show that was just out. We would do that in Hoboken. We would do the Tech Day in New York City. We would do a lot of chamber events. Just getting out every day. And we're members of 6 or 7 chambers of commerce. Business after hours events, any kind of thing, anywhere we could talk to people, and we look for partners. So we do a lot of business through our partner program too. So we sell direct a little bit, but most of our sales are through other. That was how we really did all of our sales in the cellular phone business. We had partners who sold for us. We had, we didn't sell directly. We had partners who did just about everything. A lot of e-commerce partners that already had an e-commerce business that we helped them do more sales as more products. We had a lot of close to 300 in New York City independent cellular phone agencies at the time. Back before there were all corporate ones, there were all kinds of, we did business with them all. In Brooklyn with the Orthodox Jews, and in downtown with the Indians. They all did business with us because we paid our bills on time. We were, we were good at what we were doing. We were good at what we did too there. And they trusted us to, some people we were paying, 40 and 60 and 80 and $100,000 a month, in commissions. And, people are concerned about getting paid, and we always paid. So as a wholesale, or you're always in this business, you're only as good as you can pay, and we always pay it on time.
So you're a mentor, right?
I am, but not. So they ran out of mentees. So I am a mentorless mentor in this first batch.
We matched a bunch of people as perfectly as we could, and Mike was one of the ones that was unmatched. So we invited him to come in and just chat with the group. Obviously, Mike, if you want to share your contact information with the folks here, we can throw that in the chat too. It looks, I know a few more people have popped up on screen. Are there other questions?
I got a quick question for you, Mike, if you don't mind me asking, right?
No, not at all.
Your business really, when you're talking about your customers, what I've learned more than anything else is just because a lot of my advisors and one of my mentors as well, they're at Amazon. And I think the biggest thing is, in this age right now, more than anything else, you have to become truly customer focused and obsessed, right? In order to grow that account, grow that business, strengthen that relationship more than anything else. What would you advise anyone that's creating a startup right now in that space? How to become, as it is, it's a little more difficult right now to be selling via Zoom as well, not in person anymore.
Right. So are you saying you do business on Amazon, or you do,
No, not Amazon.
For the Amazon mindset, like being very
customer obsessed, right? So how are you selling right now? How are you having your team go out and sell for you? Now we're in an age we're not actually meeting people anymore.
Well, we're still going out and doing demo. I'm still doing some demos. We're not doing as many, but I put a mask on, and we go out and we'll do some live demos. We do a lot of stuff on the phone, and a lot of clients we could do some demos. And we sent one client who didn't want to actually come and do a demo. We actually sent some stuff out to them. They plugged it in. They were listen, we're sure we can plug it in. We just want to see some really high end phones. We did a bunch of video phones. We sent them close to $3,000 or $4,000 worth of video phones as a demo, and they loved it. And we worked with them. And my staff is good enough to to even sell remotely. So we're selling remotely almost as well as we're selling, in person. A lot of people still want to see, people at the beginning of COVID were much more obsessed about doing everything remotely, but even, some of them are having problems with phones. And so now with it's really important to communicate better, because it's all about communicating these days, about how well you can communicate. Staying in business is about communicating with everybody. So we make it easier to communicate. And at the beginning of COVID, I can't tell you how many 30 and 40 and 50 person companies that we had set up that you can go and literally take your phone, unplug it, plug it in at your house, and it's going to work the same as at your house as in your office. So a lot of our customers took their phones home, and I can't tell you how many times we did FaceTime meetings and other things, and they pointed the phone at their home network and said, "Where do I plug this in?" I go, "You see that blue wire? That's the yellow hole there. Plug it into the one next to the yellow hole there." And and we help them set up their, we had everything working great for 50-person company. Now we're working 50 people remotely. Are all trying to do at the same time. But we got through it all. It was very busy for the beginning of COVID when people stopped working in offices. So our customers I think our customers are more tech savvy. Our customers are the ones that get it, more than ones that don't get it. So we didn't really even lose a lot of customers over COVID. We weren't heavy in restaurants and retail. We do a lot of law firms, a lot of private equity, a lot of people who could see the extra value that we give. So we made sure that we did our bang up job for them. Whatever customers asked for us, we would we've done, and they're also customers. They're all still functioning and doing business. They're slowly starting to move back into the offices. Maybe not all at once, but a little bit, because we're getting a little bit more back to normal. But who knows what's going to happen with these higher COVID stuff? But we're still customer centric. So I would say, and we've all been working remote. We started working remote years ago. One of our sales, I'll do a shameless plug, but one of our things we did years and years ago was we went and we set up some soft phones way back in the beginning. It had to be 2006. We went to a Starbucks right by Penn Station, 3 of us, and we'd spent an entire day drinking coffee at Starbucks, and we answered all of our support calls the entire day. We're a much smaller company back then. We only had 3 people in support. We answered our entire day of support from Starbucks to show that you could run a business over your computer and over, be gone for a day. One of our mantras is make the beach your office, so you can answer calls from anywhere. So we did it as a proof of concept, and we did a little bit of marketing with it. But so we've always been helping, so for years we always had Fridays as office optional days for our staff, especially over the summer, because usually in the summer, a lot of times, even if you're an entrepreneur and work like I work obsessively, you're still going to work Friday anyway. But we'd work from home. And so when we had to go all work remotely, we'd already had our phone set up. I already had a home office set up. My son will attest to the fact that I have 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 phones sitting in my home office here right now. And even before COVID, I had 5 phones sitting here religiously. I've got 5 different servers. One's on each server. So if I need to test something, I can test it, without going to some multiple stuff. And, there was a reason for 5. So there's always a reason for my badness, even though even though they probably don't know it, even though he probably has no idea why there's 5. So now he does, but he's never asked, so, but we could work just as easily remotely as in the office, and our clients can do the same too. So we've set up a lot of people on their phones and on their computers. We've got an app, an Android and an iOS app that you can do. So we've helped our clients continue to do what they do best, even in bad situations and bad, through these horrible times. Did that answer? Was that?
Oh, that was good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are there any other questions? I know we're getting to 5 o'clock. I know, David, I saw you pop on. I knew you had a question. What's going on?
How many employees do you have today?
So we've got 8 in New Jersey, and 8 in New Jersey, 1 in Florida. who used to be in New Jersey, who his wife got transferred, and who work our day shift. And at night, because we're true 24/7, we have a second office where it's a co-op, but we have about 35 people work for us in Great Falls, Montana, that answer calls it. So you're getting a real live, actually agent, US based. The funny thing is they speak a little slower in Great Falls than I speak, so it's a little more homesy than even I am. So and we're part owners of, it's a co-op, so we're part owners. So I don't hire and fire them directly, but every quarter we have a meeting, and I don't get too many complaints from our after-hours support, and it's really important that it's handled properly. And like I said, we don't get too many calls, but those are really the most important ones. Are the ones late at night. It's usually the decision maker, or business owner, and we want to make sure that they're handled properly. So.
And one other quick question: have you ever heard of a company called JBR Telecom or JBR Telecom?
No. What was it?
JBR Telecom.
No.
I was just curious if you did similar things. He's a neighbor of mine. I'm just curious.
Okay. I'm looking it up. You're gonna make me JBR Telecom, business telephone. Where are they located? Where are you?
I think his office is in Livingston.
Yeah. Okay. So he, pretty similar. He was probably in the phone business before this. So he was probably an older. He's probably been in the business for a long time because he sells Avaya. I never sold. We only sold IP phones, so we were never in traditional phones. We only sold. We started with IP phones from day one. So we never did anything on site. Everything was all hosted in our servers.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Mike, congratulations on the success that you have had.
Thank you.
It's great to see someone who has never worked for anybody else ever. So my question is, what are your plans for the company going forward? Is it something that you plan to sell at some point of time, or merge with a bigger company, or you want to keep it with the family for your kid or kids if they ever want to join you? So how is creating a roadmap for future for yourself and the company?
That's a great question. I'm probably 3 years away from figuring that out. Being 57, I'm not ready to retire. And the funny thing is, I come from a long line of people who work my dad is 83 and still working as a dentist, and my mom is 80. We just had her 80th birthday, and she's a realtor, and they're both still working pretty much full time. My dad might retire this December. He might not too, but so I don't know what I would do if I retired. What would I, like my dad doesn't golf. My dad flies airplanes. I'm a pilot. My hobby is work. I've never worked a day in my life. I tell people I've never, I love what I do. So I'm not ready to retire. So if I'm not ready to retire, I'm probably a couple years away from putting a great plan together.
Any growth plans for the company, or any product introductions or changes you think you'll be making, or you're going to continue kind of the growth trajectory you've been doing? Really,
we've been growing pretty, 10 to 20% a year, so year on year. So it's a good, this year, even in the bad economy, we grew 10%. So and it was much tougher because the deals take longer to close, and everything, does a lot. We do give a lot of stuff back. I have a VoiceNEXTcares.com website, so we do a lot of stuff for not-for-profits where we'll give back a lot of stuff. Last year, we probably gave away $75,000 worth of services and equipment to not-for-profits. So we I'm at a point in my life where I can help. I'm returning the favor and helping with the mass approach we did. We're helping 2 not-for-profits. One is the Great Swamp Watershed Association in New Jersey. Anybody ever been to the Great Swamp in New Jersey? Great place to go hiking. And the other one we're doing is a drug rehab in North Jersey called Step Ahead. So both those are, we just did a approach to help both those not-for-profits. We're probably going to give them close to $3,000 for this promotion. Just giving back, and every year, like I said, we give a lot of stuff back to, we like social service organizations. We like people, veterans groups, anything that, anything, not religious, not for profits, but any kind of social service kind of thing,
Absolutely. Well, I know we're a few minutes over here. I saw Eric's note in the chat. Thank you for that. He said thank you and
thank
great
you.
learning about you and taking the time. I'll echo that and thank you again for joining us and thank all of you for listening in today. We're going to do a couple more of these. Some will be more interactive, some will be more fireside chat styles. David, glad to hear that you liked it. And really thank you all for joining us. Like, look, this mentorship cohort is new for us. Our goal is that if you take even one piece away from today that helps you a little bit further the next day, that's what we're aiming for. It's not always like a massive rocket ship up in space that we can achieve every single time, but it's those little steps that help us to work better as a community and to build our businesses and ultimately to be on brand here, build a better future for all. So we will keep you posted with upcoming things like this. Don't forget, we have our Slack channel active now, so we can also continue the conversation, put more questions in there. Mike, if you're comfortable with sharing your information, I'm sure some of the people here might like to get in touch with you,
Sure.
and you can share that as well. And with that, I'll leave you all to your Thursday evenings and wish you all a great weekend.
There's my email address, and if you want 732-653. There's my direct dial number you can get me at.
And there it is.
Well, you'll be sending that information in an email to us, right?
Yeah, I can get
whoever's
that.
on the call.
Okay.
No problem.
Great.
I'm going to copy it over right now so I don't forget. All right. Well, thank you again, Mike. Thank you all for joining us today. It's great to see all of you as always, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, everyone stay healthy, and if you're an entrepreneur, just do it. There's never ever been a better time to start a business ever, and don't let anybody tell you no. Like, I don't take no very well either. So it's people, I'm starting a phone company to compete with Verizon. No, you're not. Why? Just do it. And figure out their weakness. The weakness of Verizon and Comcast are that they're too big. They can't turn on a dime. That's their weakness, and they're horrible customer service. So you can compete with anybody on anything, and that's it.
There it is.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Have a great afternoon, everyone. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.